Hey guys, how's it going? Jared Garneau here. Here's my guitar lesson on YouTube. I'm actually just going to turn up the gain really quick before I move forward. Sweet. Awesome. All right. So yeah, today's my guitar lesson, and I'm going to show you 5 lick locations and boxes for Derek Trucks, the style of guitar that he plays. And primarily, I'm referencing the Allman Brothers version of The Sky's Crying. That's still one of the best slow blues solos I've ever heard. Just the build up of it is just so perfect. It's not so much situation where it's the licks he's playing. It's just the way he builds the solo that's just so awesome. So today we're going to go over that. And just so you guys know, I am going to offer a PDF for all the licks today. That is free if you join my newsletter on my website. So in the description below, I'll be adding my website. All you have to do is sign up for the newsletter, and you'll receive the free PDF of all these licks. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to explain the licks on here and everything, and the the shapes and everything on here. But if you want the actual PDF, please sign up for the newsletter. I would really appreciate it. But anyways, so everything's going to be in the key of C, and it's going to be assumed that we're going to be playing over like a blues. So, just to review, if we're in the key of C, a blues would be C, F, and G, and, probably all dominant chords. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, with all these licks, I'm going to suggest a chord that you play them over. Doesn't mean you have to play over that chord, but when I'm transcribing these licks, I pay attention to what chords Derek is playing these licks over, just to get some context on what he's doing. Because, when the chords change, everything about what you play should change. Even if you're playing the same exact licks, how you're playing over the chord is going to just sound completely different than when you're playing over another chord. So that's important. So this first lick, I'm going to suggest that you play over the 4 chord. So when you're listening to Derek solo in Sky's Crying, he basically sits out for the first 4 measures. Except on that 4th measure, on the 4th beat, I think if you're thinking of him in 12/8, actually, it would be the 11th beat in that measure. He comes in on this note. So with a low swell. I think I have some scratchy pots too, but it's my channel, so whatever. I'll clean it later. But anyways, the lick location itself is this box. So I'm actually going to start from the lower version. So we're on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, the flat 3rd or the 4th fret on the 2nd string, 6th fret, 8th fret. Gonna actually just reset my buffer. I can just hear a slight delay. So hopefully that makes it. Yeah, I think that worked. Awesome. So yeah, we have the 1st fret, 4th, 6th, 8th, 11th, and then 13th. So that's just one octave of a C minor pentatonic scale. So that's root, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 7th, and then root again. An example of a lick you might play is starting with the volume swell at the 11th fret, slide into the 13th fret, so flat 7 to root, and go. So sliding into the root, and all one pluck, flat 7, 5th, flat 7. So that's all one pluck with the volume swell. And then from there, we're going to pluck and go to the 4th fret and do a low trill from the 4th fret to the flat. From not the 4th fret, the 4th degree. So the 6th fret to the 7th fret to the 6th to the 4th fret for that flat 3rd, and then just nudge out of tune. So here's what that sounds like all together. So you can do a variation within that. You don't have to do that pluck going into that fourth. You could just maybe pluck that fourth as is. So here's what it sounds like with the pluck going backwards to it. Here's without. Kind of fudge that last part, but you get the idea. What I do recommend is with that flat third, nudging it a little bit. You're not nudging it all the way to the 5th fret to make it a major third. You're nudging it somewhere halfway. So, don't worry about being too exact with it. It's meant to be a technique that's expressive. So use your ears and, just try and play what feels right. Yeah, so those are some variations within that lick right there. Goes to show that playing these linear ideas is really good for this style and what Derek leans on a lot. So next we have the Albert King style box, and I'm just looking at the PDF. I just printed it. And it's basically just like, the Albert King box that we all hear on like Born Under a Bad Sign. So that sort of thing. So the lick itself, and I'm just going to go over the notes that are in the circles. I'll go over the triangles in a second. So this lick itself would be starting on the 11th fret of the 2nd string, 13th fret of the 2nd string, and then jumping in the 1st string going 11, 13, 15, and then 18. So that'd be flat 7 root, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 7th. So a lick idea you could play there is, so Derek does that over the 5 chord in blues, so like a G7. So something like that. Where there is a variation, so you can play that root alternatively down here on the 8th fret of the 1st string. And then you can also play the flat 3rd on the 16th fret of the 2nd string, and then the 4th degree on the 18th fret on the 2nd string. So some variations with that lick right there, which, the bass lick would be, or what I played before was, could also play that root lower. Either or, obviously this C right here is going to sound a little bit thinner because it's on a thinner string. Then you can also play, so something like that anyways. Just coming up with all these variations right here. So that first lick that I did that you can steal is starting at the 11th fret on the 2nd string, and we're going to go. Now the key here is we're going to pluck the 11th fret on the 2nd string and then pluck the 1st string, but you don't want the notes to like overlap at all. You want, so as soon as you hit the 1st note, you want to make sure that 2nd note is muted. So as soon as, actually before I even pluck that 1st note, I'm muting it with my 2nd string. So it's like, but doing it real quick. Then after that, I'm hitting the 13th fret, 15th fret, then the 11th fret, and just nudging it like a quarter step. So, and then going to the 13th fret on the 2nd string, or the 8th fret, and then the rest of the lick could be like, so right there I'm just doing a rake up to the 5th degree, so the 15th fret, and just doing a backward slide like a half fret to the blue note, the sharp 4, flat 5, and back to the root. So then doing rake to the flat 7th, or then doing a trill from the 4, flat 4, flat 5, 4 to flat 3rd, root. And actually sliding up to that 4, so. But really quick. So if you're having a hard time hearing these licks, 1, you can slow down the video. 2, you can really look at my hands and where they're going. And also, you can sign up for lessons with me if you're interested. If you're really interested in learning the nuances and you're just having a tough time like learning the stuff on your own, I'm happy to help you out. I'm going to include my Calendly link in the description below. So if you're interested in lessons, feel free to reach out. And one thing I think I forgot to mention is I am in Open E for this. So Derek plays exclusively in Open E, so to show his licks, that's what I'm going for. So the next thing is the condensed Dwayne box. Oh, and those previous licks use over the 5 and 4 chords. So that lick over the 5 chord could sound like this. Then back to the root. All right, so the next thing is the condensed Dwayne box. So it's just the same box that Dwayne plays, but just condensed a little bit because a lot of times Derek doesn't necessarily use the whole thing, particularly the low 6 string. He plays it, but more sparingly. Just in my opinion, just that 6 string just kind of has a natural like bladdy tone. I don't know how else to describe it, but just doesn't have quite as good of a tone as some of these other strings. So this box is starting on the 6th fret of the 4th string, 8th fret, on the 3rd string, 7th fret, 2nd string, 6 and 8, 1st string, 6 and 8. So with this box, it's just some classic. So that lick right there, you can hit that root, and a common thing you'll hear is Derek raking up to it. And he'll either slide into it or just hit it straight. Which if you're going to rake into that note, you're going to want to pluck it maybe around the 6th fret so you have enough distance to slide into it. So then from there, we're going to go 8, 6, 8, 6, and then go back to the 8th fret and slide back to the 6th fret. So we have, and then from the 7th fret on the 3rd string, and then 8th fret. So within that, we also have some variations. We could go, we already went over that slide on the root. We could also vary how we do that slide from the 5th to the 4th. We could go. So that is kind of like easing into that slide a little bit. We can make it a little bit snappier sounding, do it like a little bit quicker. So a little bit more relaxed, a little bit snappier. We could also play around with that flat 3rd to major 3rd. We could go, or we could maybe bend that flat 3rd a little bit. So that was like about halfway between the flat 3rd and major 3rd. We could also go all the way to the major 3rd. Or we could also go from the flat 3rd, major 3rd, back to the flat 3rd again. Do a little trill. So all sorts of variations within these little lick patterns. Next would be the BB King pattern for slide. Oh, and that box that I played before would sound good over the turnaround. So going like, so bars 11 and 12. So again. So all around that area. I had the fifth at the end just out of habit, but that's basically the lick right there. So next is like the BB King pattern adapted for slide. So what we have here is this pattern right here. So it almost kind of sounds like Carnival-esque when you just do that straight chromatic thing from the second to the third, but I'll explain why I'm showing that in a second. So we're on the second string, 8 to 10, first string, 8, 10, 11, 12. And we also have an optional A note at the 5th fret on the first string. So then A being right here. So notes, it would be G 5th, A 6th, C root, D 2nd, E flat, flat 3rd, E major 3rd. So the classic lick we're going to go over is... So with that lick, I'm just going 6, root, and then start from the second degree, doing this low bend sort of thing. And how we do that is we start from the second degree, bend up to the minor third area, let your slide fall a little bit, and then slide up to the major third. So you see how I'm kind of doing that rocking motion? I'll do it a little bit slower. So that's how you get that sound right there. You don't want to just go... I mean, you could. That's an actual worthwhile variation in itself. But really how Derek's phrasing it in the video is... really get that crying sound out of it. And then from there we're going... So right there I'm just going second string 10th fret on the first string, going 8. Yeah, so 8, 10, 11, 8. 10th fret on the first string, 10th fret on the second string. Then 8th fret on the first string, and then sliding to the 10th fret, back to the 8th, and then the 5th fret on the first string. So that lick would look like... I'm also sliding to that flat third. Again, you can add it or you cannot. I recommend playing around with all these options because this is like, you know, the basics of phrasing. Like how many ways can you play the same thing? So here's what it sounds like without the slide. Here's with the slide. So that low slide right there can add a lot. Now the last box, which I actually had a hard time writing it. Oh, and that last lick, I keep on forgetting to play this over the, say what chord you play this over. But it's a good intro lick for like, let's say we just finished the turnaround in blues. So starting that on like the 12th beat on the 12th measure, ish, you can go into that lick and like goes right back to the chorus real nice. So in context. So on and so forth. I kind of like went off track there, but you get the idea. So this next lick, I did have a hard time writing it because there was so many variations and directions you could take with it, but I decided just to condense it down to this lick right here. So the lick itself starts on the 4th string at the 8th fret, then going to the 3rd string at the 6th fret, 7th, so we have root, 2nd, flat 3rd, then on the 2nd string, we have the 8th fret, which is our 5th, then 10th fret, which is our 6th, and then 11th fret, which is our flat 7. So we have sounds actually kind of mysterious when I play it that way, but the lick I'm talking about is so that lick starts from the 10th fret to the 11th fret, so and then doing a slide into that 11th fret back to the 10th. And all in one move we're going 11, 10, 8, 10. So right there, that's like a mixed major and minor lick, because we have the flat 7th, then we have the 6th, which belongs to major pentatonic, and then 5th, which belongs to both. So flat 7th belongs to minor, major, both. And then from there, from the 3rd string, we're going to do the 6th fret sliding into the 7th fret. So that's going from the major 2nd to flat 3rd. And actually, we're doing maybe like a quarter step in between. So not really quite that flat 3rd, just as opposed to... What's the difference? This is just a quarter step? Half a step. So there's a difference there, you know, just slight difference, but it gives off a little bit of a different quality. And then we're hitting that root to end it. So we're going... And then a little bonus to this lick itself, we can go... We're going to go to the 8th fret. We're just going to bar at the 8th fret right here with the slide. And we're going to go starting on the 3rd string, all 8th fret. And then once we hit the 5th string, we're going to do a low descending slide. So that lick itself altogether is... So very cool. From here, I recommend start messing around, blending all those licks right there. So this is where I was kind of having a hard time with this last lick, is because you can go so many different directions with it. But let's say I want to mix it with that lick with the first lick right there, where I'm doing all the notes on the 2nd string. That could look like something like, or yeah, something like that. Or I could do the same thing but on the 5th string, since that's just an octave lower. So stuff like that. But anyways, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed that. Just let me know. I mean, if you do want this PDF of like all these lick locations, just sign up for my newsletter on my website. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell to be notified when I release a new video. It really helps my channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, which I'm really excited about. It's been a long journey, but it's been worth every second, you know, posting all these videos, especially the times where maybe I didn't really want to so much. But yeah, please help me out with all that. I'm also available for lessons online. I'm going to leave the Calendly link in my description as well. And yeah, thanks you guys so much. I really appreciate all of it. Take care.